Hello and welcome to Data Communication and Networking online lecture series. Myself Reema Rawat from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. In today's session, we will study the topic Ethernet and Logical Link Control from the unit Local Area Network. So let's start with that. First of all, what is Ethernet? So Ethernet is basically a cabling technique, or else it is a set of protocols and technologies which are mainly used in the LAN cables, that is local area networking cable technologies. It can also be used in WAN and MAN networkings, that means in wide area networking and metropolitan area networking as well. But these are widely used in LAN cable technologies where the LAN cables are placed in a particular building or in a particular campus. Okay, let us see the various types of Ethernet cables or Ethernet cabling techniques. There are basically four types of it. The first one is standard or basic Ethernet, and generally it is referred to as the standard Ethernet. It gives the speed of up to 10 Mbps, that means 10 megabits per second. The second type is fast Ethernet, which gives a speed up to 100 Mbps, that is 100 megabits per second. Then the third one is gigabit Ethernet. This gigabit Ethernet, the name itself suggests that it gives a speed up to 1 Gbps, that is 1 gigabits per second. And the fourth one is 10 gigabit Ethernet, which gives a speed up to 10 Gbps, that is 10 gigabits per second. So these are the basic four Ethernet types: standard or basic Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet and 10 gigabit Ethernet. So these are the variations according to the speed of transmission it provides. Now let us see the different Ethernet frame formats. So basically there are two types of various Ethernet frames, and its frame structures are basically called as two types, out of which the first one is DIX Ethernet, which is the standard or the previous one frame, which is named after the three companies DEC, Intel and Xerox. And the second one is the standard IEEE 802.3 frame structure. Let us see two of them in detail. The first one is DIX Ethernet. Its frame structure is like this. So as you can see in this frame structure, there are total 7 fields. Now field is a division or a partition in the particular frame structures that you already know, which we have seen in the previous lectures. So here, as you can see in this frame structure, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 partitions. These are called as field. So these are the 7 fields of DIX Ethernet frame structure, out of which the first field is called as preamble field, which is, as you can see, of 8 bytes. This indicates the starting of the particular frame and initializations of that particular frame structures. Then the second field is destination field or else destination address field, which includes the address to which the frame is to be delivered, and it is of 6 bytes. The third field is source address field, which includes the address from which the frame has been transmitted, or else you can say the transmission address, which is again of 6 bytes. Now the fourth field is a type field, and which is of 2 bytes. After that, the fifth field is data field, which is, as you can see, variable. That means it is not fixed. The data which is to be transmitted is not fixed every time. It is variable, but it is in the range of 0 to 1500 bytes, not more than that. Okay. And now the sixth field is the pad field, or as you can say a padding field, which is for zero padding or some padding purpose, which is of 0 to 46 bytes, in the range of 0 to 46 bytes. Now the last field is a checksum field, which is of 4 bytes, which is for error detection purpose at the receiver side. So this is the frame, which is DIX Ethernet frame structure. Now let us see the second one, that is IEEE 802.3 frame structure. It is like this. In this, as you can see, there are total 8 fields, out of which the first is preamble field, which again indicates the starting or initialization of the particular frame or initialization parameters. The next field is SOF field, which indicates starting of fragmentation of the frame. Then the third and fourth field are of address field. In the third field, it includes destination address, and in the fourth field, it includes source address. And now the fifth field is the length field. After that, the next field is data field, which is variable. And the last two fields are same to that of DIX Ethernet frame structures, which are padding and checksum, from which padding is for zero padding or some padding concept, and checksum is for error detection purpose. Okay, so these are the basic two frame formats, out of which IEEE 802.3 frame format is important. Now, next let us see different types of Ethernet cabling techniques or Ethernet cables. So in this table, as you can see, there are basically 4 Ethernet cabling techniques indicated. The first is 10-base-5, the second is 10-base-2, the third one is 10-base-T, and the fourth one is 10-base-F. So in this 10-base-5 cabling, thick coaxial cable is used, which is having maximum segments at the distance 500 meters, and it gives 100 nodes per segment. That means you can use 100 nodes or 100 devices per segment. And its main advantage is its original cable, and it may be low cost, but it is nowadays obsolete due to some disadvantages. Now the next is 10-base-2, in which thin coaxial cable is used, and it gives the maximum segments at up to distance 185 meters. It supports 30 nodes per segments, and in this hub is not required. That means no hub needed for this type of cabling technique. The third one is 10-base-T, that is twisted pair cable technique, which provides the maximum segments at up to 100 meters with 1024 nodes per segment. It is the cheapest system among all. And the fourth one and the most efficient one and widely used is 10-base-F technique, or as 10-base-F Ethernet cabling, where F stands for fiber optic cables, which gives maximum segments at the distance 2000 meters, which is highest among all of the techniques available, which has 1024 nodes per segment, and it is best between buildings or in a particular campus. So here these are the 4 Ethernet cabling techniques, out of which 10-base-T and 10-base-F are widely used, and 10-base-F is most efficient one and preferred to use. Here in 10-base-T, T indicates twisted pair cable, and in 10-base-F, F indicates fiber optic cables. Now let us see Ethernet cabling diagram so that you can have the clear idea about the Ethernet cabling. Here the figure A indicates the 10-base-5 Ethernet cabling. The figure B indicates 10-base-2 Ethernet cabling technique, and the figure C indicates the 10-base-T, that is twisted pair cabling technique. So now let us see first one, that is 10-base-5 Ethernet cabling. So here in this, as you can see, this is the cable having a core which has the transceiver over here. The transceiver is the combination of transmitter and receiver properties, and it is connected using the vampire tap. So this is the connections that are used for the connecting of core and transceiver with the controller or transceiver cable, which is a special type of taps that is called as vampire tap. To fix it properly, it is connected to the device or the computer using transceiver cable where the controller is placed. Okay, so this is the arrangement of 10-base-5 Ethernet cabling. The next one is 10-base-2 Ethernet cabling, in which the connector looks like this, having the transceiver and controller at the device end. And now the third one is 10-base-T, that is twisted pair cabling technique, in which hub is required over here, using which some of the twisted pair is connected to the device and where the controller are placed. Okay, so here as you can see, there are the twisted pair cables over here for which hubs are used. Okay, so these are the basic 3 Ethernet cabling, so that you can get the idea about it. Now the next one is IEEE 802.2, that is LLC, Logical Link Control. Remember that Ethernet is the standard IEEE 802.3 and LLC is the standard IEEE 802.2. Okay. Now as you can see over here, the data link layer has the 2 sublayers, LLC and MSC, where LLC is the logical link control and MSC is the medium access control sublayer. Okay, these are the layers between network layer and physical layer. So here you can say that data link layer has the 2 sublayers. First one is LLC, logical link control, and second one is MSC, medium access control sublayer. Okay, we are going to see LLC now. So the basic functions of LLC sublayer are, first one, the primary function is to multiplex protocols over the MAC layer, that is media access control sublayer or medium access control sublayer, while transmitting, and likewise to demultiplex the protocols while receiving. That means at the transmitter side it should multiplex the protocols and at the receiver side it should demultiplex the protocols. That means it should provide the combination of multiplexing and demultiplexing at the transmitter and at the receiver side respectively. The next is it provides hope-to-hope flow and error control. So there is again the main feature which provides flow and error control for the particular layer. The next is it allows multi-point communication over computer network. That means it is not required that it should be a point-to-point or person-to-person or peer-to-peer communication only, but it also provides the multi-point communication over computer network. Next is the frame sequence number are assigned by LLC, so that at the receiver side it has to be identified using the sequence number of the particular frame. And if in case of acknowledged services, it tracks the acknowledgements, that means whichever the frame is received and for which acknowledgement is delivered. Okay, so these are the basic functions of LLC sublayer. So in today's session we have seen Ethernet and LLC, where Ethernet is the cabling technique defined under the standard IEEE 802.3, and the next we have seen the sublayer of data link layer. That means that 2 sublayers, MAC, media access control sublayer, and LLC, which is logical link control sublayer, out of which we have seen LLC, logical link control, and its functions. So I hope this is clear to you now. Now in next sessions we are going to see the different network connecting devices, that are repeaters, hubs, switches, routers, how they are used and how they differ in their roles, and which protocols we are going to use for that particular network connecting devices. Also we will study Bluetooth, its architecture, its protocol stack and its applications, in which Bluetooth is defined, that it's IEEE standard, and we will also see different types of example networks, that means X.25, frame relays, virtual LANs, and as well as we will see ISDN networks. Okay, these are the references. These are the websites which may be useful for you for further knowledge, and this also includes some of the part in this topic as well, so it will be advisable that you go through this. Thank you for listening.